Hey everybody, pardon the look. It is 4 a.m. I got up for work and realized I had forgotten to do this video, so I should do this video. Um, so, number 69 in the Criterion collection, nice, is Testament of Orpheus by Jean Cocteau from France from 1959. This is the final part of his Orphic trilogy, which is not a trilogy in story but in theme. All three films examine the role of a poet and the importance of a poet because, according to these, a poet is kind of the greatest thing a man can aspire to be. But poet also seems to cover more than just strictly writing poetry. It seems to almost be a stand in for artistry in general. Um, so our first was The Blood of the Poet of a Poet, which was essentially a very surreal film with very little plot that was basically testing various film tricks. The second was a remake of the story of Orpheus, utilizing some of those same film tricks, and it had a surreal nature, stronger in other places, or stronger in some places than others, but overall was just a cohesive story. And now we come to The Testament of Orpheus, which has nothing to do with the story of Orpheus whatsoever. Um, the story instead is of a 17th century French noble who becomes unstuck in time, but knows where there is a professor who has mastered time travel. And after kind of bumping around that professor's life, he finally narrows in on where the professor can help free him from being unstuck in time. And when the professor does that, we turn out that the noble is actually the director, Jean Cocteau, who goes on a surreal journey to try and find his way back to life, sort of. And to justify his life, sort of. Along the way, he is helped by an actor from Orpheus who he repeatedly calls the character that he is in the movie Orpheus, even though that's not the actor's name. So it is referential of his other works. It is honestly, it's somewhere between The Blood of a Poet, which was not a movie but rather just a piece of art that moved, and Orpheus, which was a fairly straightforward story. This one is kind of in between. It's definitely more surreal. It comes across as the director exploring his own work, his mindset. Um, I've seen where some critics called it self indulgent for that reason because it really is Jean Cocteau just Jean Cocteauing all over himself. It's interesting. And it makes some decent points that I enjoyed. Um, just real quick, there was a segment where he was given a flower to draw, and as he tried to draw the flower, he found he could only draw himself, and that's when the actor from the movie pointed out to him that that's all artists can ever do is draw or tell or write themselves. Um, which yeah, it came across as thought. That one came across as thought provoking to me, and I'm still not entirely sure how to feel about it. It's an interesting movie. A lot of the same film tricks are here. I don't have much else to say about it, though. I don't have any deep film thing in particular to talk about. It's an interesting series. By and large, I don't find French cinema to be to my tastes, but it was interesting. And we got a lot more French cinema coming up in a little bit, so, you know, I better get over it. Um, Next up will be our 70th. It'll be our 69th film, but it's number 70 in the Criterion collection, The Last Temptation of Christ by Martin Scorsese from the United States from 1988. Um, yeah, I'll see you there. Thank you as always for watching. I have to go take a shower and go to work now.